This one was brought to me by my daughter, and she asked, "Do we use algebra in business?" And she is right now doing Algebra 2. And so I've seen a lot of people on Facebook say, "Another day gone, and I haven't used Algebra once." And I would say that you probably have used Algebra more than you think. And so I love math. Definitely a math geek, and I'm going to tell you that you absolutely do use Algebra more than you think, and you probably do want to use Algebra 2 in your business. And I'm just going to tell you that thing that your algebra teacher didn't teach you, they didn't explain to you well enough when you're in school, is this. And that is that the core goal of learning algebra is to learn how to take big, complicated, ugly problems and break them down into small, simple problems. And so if you remember back to those dreadful days of doing your story problems and other things like that, your goal was to take a complicated problem and break it into a lot of simple steps. And you probably remember doing a math problem that was like a whole page for one problem. And that whole page was, okay, first taking this big thing, making it three small things. Okay, taking the first small thing and fixing that one, taking the second small one, solving that one, working on down the list. Well, guess what? This is what life is like, and this is what business is like. You want to build a parking lot, then you've got 100 small problems that look like one big problem. And so you're doing that all the time. You're solving these big problems by turning them into a bunch of small problems. But let's talk specifically about something that looks like math, and we're going to talk about profit maximization. And I use this example when I talk about profit maximization. And first of all, let's just say, what is that? Profit maximization is exactly what it sounds. It's like trying to figure out how to get the most profit. If you are a Gen Xer, you might remember back when videotapes came out. And when you wanted to buy a videotape, it cost you over $100, and that's like in 1983 dollars, right? $100 to buy one videotape. And so nobody did. Instead, what'd you do? You went down to Blockbuster and you rented videotapes. Well, it doesn't cost $100 to make a videotape, right? It costs like a buck to make these things. And so that means you were making $99 profit on every videotape that you sold. But you didn't sell that many because there's only so many video stores in the country. And then um, the videotape companies, the movie companies realized, well, if we drop the price down to $10 for a videotape, we sell way more. So you only make $9 profit on those videotapes, but you sell so many more videotapes that you might be making more total profit. And so that's what this graph is here. So if you look here, the profit per item is really high on the left because you're selling a videotape for $100 and making $99 profit, whereas your profit per item is really low on the right hand side where you're selling them for $10 and only making $9 profit. Maybe this is actually $2 and you're making $1 profit. But then if you look, when the price comes down, more people buy them. And so your volume, your unit sales goes up. And so by maximizing your profit, and so this just looks like Algebra 2 here, right? You are graphing things in Algebra, figuring, okay, what's going on here. And I'll just tell you that at the serious level, like when you're at Walmart and things like that, you got people who are PhDs that have 15 different versions of calculus that they know, and they're using calculus to do this, not Algebra 2 or trigonometry. But you're graphing these things and you figure out, okay, where do these two lines cross? And so you see this little graph at the bottom, and so you'll see here that your profit is going up as your volume goes up, and then your profit goes down because you've crossed this point. And so where this point is at its peak is where your profit is the highest. And so I made a decision when I started my law firm. Some law firms, they go for really expensive services and they say, okay, you want to talk to me, you need to write a check for 10 grand. And I chose not to do that. I chose to focus more on what small and medium-sized businesses need. And so I decided I was going to optimize my firm so that I could work with more clients. And that's why I've had like 400 clients in the last 2 years. And that's because I'm working more on volume. I wanted to go closer to the right-hand side of this graph and work with more people. And did I get the maximum profit? Well, I'm always making adjustments to try to get my profits the highest and also to help the most number of people. But there are some people out there that they say, I don't want to have 400 clients. I don't want to have 400 customers. I was meeting with a client earlier today. They provide a very premium service, and their goal is to have 10 customers a year, 10, not 100, not 400 or whatever. And that makes them happy. And so, they've deliberately chosen the strategy of going for fewer customers, but profiting more by selling a very premium product. And this is a conscious decision by their business. I made a conscious decision to be closer to the other side of the graph. And a lot of people, they don't make conscious decisions. They don't think about the optimization strategies, and that's a mistake. So what I would like you to think about doing is thinking about how can you optimize your profits, maximize your profits, and get your numbers so that you are intentionally making decisions that get you to the higher volume or the lower volume or the higher dollar amount or the lower dollar amount price point so that you can achieve your business goals. So yes, we do use algebra business or algebra in business, or if we're not, we should be.